Well, Coach Grossner, you guys are 1-0 on the year. Nice victory over Ottawa last weekend. Now your focus is on, again, another KCAC school, Sterling, coming in. Talk briefly just about that win and the team you're about to face.
Yeah, last week, great win for us. I thought we started the game off real well. Got on top. Had a few injuries in the second quarter that kind of slowed us down offensively. Rallied at halftime, kind of regrouped. Relied on our defense, which we feel comfortable with, and pulled out the win. Now going into this matchup, offensively we've lost Clarence Clark for the year, which is a huge loss for us. He led us in receiving last year, led the nation in scoring. So we've got to have a guy like Lede Booth step up and jump into that spot, and then a couple of the other young receivers or old receivers got to step up and start contributing more. And then Scott Meyer, our senior tailback, our tandem of Cameron and him, got broke up in the second quarter. Scotty's done for the year, which was another tough loss for that young man, and feels so, this is twice in his career that injury's happened. So hopefully we get a young back step up and give us some offensive firepower. Going into this game, Sterling College is a great football team. I watched them on tape 10 games last year going into the playoffs. Very sound, well coached. Andy does a nice job with his team defensively and offensively. And I watched them from last week's game, and they're the photocopy of what they were last year. So they're going to come in here, and it's going to be one heck of a matchup. Last year was 10-7. We snuck out with a field goal with no time left to beat them in the first round of the playoffs. My expectation is this is going to be a dogfight. I think, offensively we got to find a way when we get in the red zone to score touchdowns this week, and then defensively we got to contain three good open field players on their offense. Their quarterback's as good as advertised, running the ball as well as throwing it. Number 3 was a first-team All-American. He's a running back receiver type plus a first-team All-American return guy. And then they throw number 7, the Denton kid, was hurt last year going into the playoffs, had a hurt knee, and now he's back and he's a threat. They like to throw him the ball and hand him the ball, and so he's also their backup quarterback. That'll tell you how athletic he is. So we've got that. They're going to stress our defense, and hopefully we come out. I think we've got a great week of practice, assignment smart, and our guys can run. I love what our defense presents, so I think it's going to be a heck of a matchup there. And then offensively, we're going to move the football now. What do we do when we get close, or do we hit that big play? And it should be a great game. It's 2 tough early games. We knew looking at our schedule, we're playing the best of the best in the KCAC. Ottawa's 14 and 5-time champ, and then Sterling won the KCAC last year. That's why we're matched up this week with them. So bring it on. It's going to be good.
Talked about number 3, Antonio Bray for Sterling. He is one of their top guys. Big season last year. We were able to contain him last year, but what will it take to do that again Saturday?
Yeah, I thought we did a fine job last year. We didn't kick to him. We're lucky we didn't. We punted everything away from him, and we got away there. And then on kick returns, we contained him pretty good. But you did see the one play. There was a 3rd or 4th and short last year in last year's game, and we committed to it. We were trying to stop it. We missed a tackle in the hole, and he went for about 60 for a touchdown and ran away from our guys. He's that type of kid. The thing about a game like this is you've got to play every snap. That it can break. If you don't do your assignment right and tackle well and be disciplined, all of a sudden you're playing 40 minutes of great football and defense, and one play could be the difference, and that's where we got to be good. Every time we're out there, every snap's got to be dialed in on defense, and I like our kids. I think they understand that, and they know by the experience we had last year. Sterling's been here, it wasn't so long ago. I think it was late November, early December, so they're comfortable in our setting, and they understand that this is a big game for them. They got knocked off last week. It was a great football game, tough football game. So I'm sure they've had a great week of practice and ready to get after us.
Your offense last year was really clicking late too. Against Peru State, you guys had a lot of points scored. Morningside, you scored 30+. But then against Sterling, scored 10. What was it about their defense that was able to, hold Baker?
If you look at the yardage, we moved it pretty good. We had over 400 yards of offense. I thought we executed from 20 to 20 real well. We missed 3 field goals, and we didn't score touchdowns in the red zone. So I thought last year what they showed was they played very sound, they tackled well, and they moved on defense. They caught us a little bit. We're an athletic offensive line, but I felt like their movement caught us a little bit and kind of contained us in the red zone. You know, when that field shortens, you got to execute. Those yards get tougher in the run, and then when you go over to the top, you got to make plays. And so I feel like that's going to be key to us. You know, can we score some maybe long touchdowns, big plays, and when we get down there, let's get nasty and get in the end zone.
It's also interesting, you know, this could be your last non-conference game, you know, in a regular season for a long time. You know, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, bittersweet. I like these non-conference games. I like flexibility to play, you know, different teams from different leagues. But, you know, we've made a commitment to Grandview and William Penn coming into our league. There's #1 in the nation and a top 15 team added to our conference. So now we're going to be locked into 11 conference games with our conference being split in divisions. So I think that flavor is going to be pretty cool too, to have, you know, you're playing the North and South teams throughout the year, and, you know, at one point you're going to be playing a conference game, which means it's something for your East or North-South championship, and then other times you're going to be just playing a North Division team, which means a lot in the playoff picture and your overall ranking, but it's not a conference game. So there's goods and bads on both. You know, just the Ottawa game, for instance. You know, there's a rival down the road. You saw that atmosphere. What a crowd the other night. What an atmosphere. You know, I'm going to miss that game. Now, the only chance we'll probably have to play them is a playoff situation, which is very likely with us being regional and them getting in the playoffs every year. They've been pretty consistent there. So there's a likelihood we could play them, but it won't be that opener. It'll be a finisher. And then Tech, Sterling College, what an opponent for your second week of the season, you know. So, yeah, we're going to miss that part of it.
Well, Coach, thank you for your time. Good luck Saturday.
Thank you.